everybody, welcome back to Scrappy Adam, and welcome back to a Scrappy Chatty video where we're going to do a bit of an unfinished project, a bit of a random Scrappy video really, nothing in particular. We are using Doodlebug Seaside Summer Collection. I'm just showing you what I've got from the collection. We've got the enamel stickers, the cardstock stickers, stamps, 6x6 paper pad, a couple of the 12x12s, and I have got a cut file which I believe is from Pear Tree Cut Files, which I have backed with papers from the collection as well. It is the banners with the clouds and the sun. I'm using a couple of photos of Dan and myself, and we're at a beach in North Wales, I think. I've also got the ephemera from the collection in one of the coconut bowls that Kathy and myself got while we were on our cruise, as well as a couple of Nouveau drops. So I'm starting with a basics, petite print basics from the collection and a sheet of basil cardstock, and I'm going to trim the cardstock down, I think 11 by 11, to give myself a 1/2 inch border across the page of the blue. Looking back, I probably should have done 11.5 by 11.5. The blue is a little bit thick, but it's okay. I love blue, and there's a lot of blue in the photo and the collection, so it works. It's absolutely fine. Just trying to line that up now, and then we're going to place the cut file in the middle of the page. I was toying with the idea of placing it to one side, and the reason being was I wanted to use two photos. I can't remember whether we used 2 or 1 in the end. As you can see, I'm faffing massively at the moment, and I also wanted to use quite a lot of the cutter parts because I wanted to sort of layer the cutter parts up one side and use one of the photos. Then I decided I wanted to mat the photo, even though I wasn't going to mat the photo. It was a proper faffy kind of layout where I just couldn't decide what I wanted, what would work, what wouldn't work, and we just sort of flitted between it. I think we all have layouts like that where it doesn't really turn out how we planned, or we go in a different direction. So I'm just matting the photo on a couple of the papers from the collection. I've gone for the pinky red and then the peachy orange, which are not in the photo as such, but it pulls in a few of the other colours from the collection, so I feel like it works. And then I changed my mind completely about where the photo is going to go and decide to add it to the right and add it on a bit of fun foam. So what I was thinking with this layout is I wanted to use a lot of the cut parts from the 6x6 paper pad. What I love about Doodlebug is they size their 6x6 paper pad down, so when you get the cutter parts, you can still use the full sheet, if that makes sense. So you still get the full sheet of cutter parts, as opposed to some of the other companies. I know Echo Park, although I think they may have changed. They used to only give you a certain few of them. Vicky Bootin is another one, because they give you the full 3x4 size. Whereas with Doodlebug, they just size it down. So you still get the full sheet of 12x12, you just get it in mini format. So I'm just deciding now which cutter parts I actually wanted to use, because I've still not stuck anything down. And we're just sort of flitting back and forth, and I'm going to cut out a load of the cutter parts. I don't use them all, but I just figured let's cut out the ones that could work, and then we'll decide as we go. We got some that are 2x3, some that are 2x2, some that are 3x3, and some that are different sizes, because that's what the cutter parts were. We've also got those ones that I've just thrown at the top there, which are word strips and banners and flags, and they come in handy for just adding a little title or a little subtitle or phrase or anything like that. This one is actually from the journaling strips, which I really like. It's a bit small to be doing journaling on because it's from the 6x6 paper pad, so I'm just going to use it as a base for my cluster of cutter parts. Cutter parts are one of those things that I love, but I don't use often enough, and it's another one of those budget scrapbooking ideas, isn't it? Because you get a sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock and you've got all these cut aparts that you can use. And I'm just lazy and I always forget, which is why I wanted to really focus on the cut file and the cut aparts. So I've placed the cut file to the right of the page as opposed to in the middle, so that I could then go a little bit heavier on the cut aparts and embellishments. I've also dived into the Doodle Pops. I'm a big Doodle Pop fan. I have a stash of Doodle Pops. I'm trying to use them, but I have got more of a stash than I've used, and I've not stuck the cut file down. I lied. I thought I had. I did actually film this video quite a while ago, and you can see that because I'm on my craft mat, which I still do have. I just don't have it on my desk permanently, and I'm finding that I like it that way because it does darken my desk quite a lot. So that's why I'm not 100% sure what we're doing until I see it on the screen with you. Because this is another one of those videos where I have recorded it but not done it in real time. Hence why I'm not chit-chatting as we do it, and I am in fast motion. But I do end up sticking the cut file to the right of the page. I did think I did. And I like the way it looks, actually. I am all for centering and lining and all of that, but equally I am all for the wonk, and we do embrace the wonk around here. So I like it to the right of the page, and I think it gives a certain look and feel to the layout. It also brings the cut file, as opposed to being the main centre of the layout, it's more of a background piece, if that makes sense. So I'm just going through adding some more of the Doodle Pops. I've used the fishes on this one and sort of pointed all the fish towards the photo because that is the main attraction of the layout, of course. And then there's this one, which is super cool. It's a shaker Doodle Pop. So there's like little, I don't know, they're like crystal glass balls inside a bottle with a, there you go, it's message in a bottle. And yeah, it's a shaker pop. I love it. They came out with them quite a while ago, and I have used a few. So I thought, let's get it used on this layout. So now I'm just going to add some enamel stickers, just as a little finishing touch. We've got a camera, little dots that look a bit like bubbles. They're like enamel dots. And then we're going to dive through the gigantic packs of ephemera. I am a big fan of Doodlebug ephemera because you get so much. They do cost a little bit more. I think they're about £9 now, £9–10, which can seem quite pricey. It is pricey. But you do get 150, 200 pieces. So when you think in a simple stories pack, for example, you get anything between 40 and 60 pieces, and that's £6. For a couple of pound more, you're getting at least double the amount. So it's not actually that bad when you think about it. There are loads and loads of pieces. Doodlebug generally split their ephemera packs, I believe, generally, mostly, into words and icons. And I do have both packs from this collection. So there's massive amount for us to go through. I'm focusing more initially on icons as opposed to words. So we've got some waves going at the bottom. We've got some tropical leaves to the left. A little seagull above the cloud and the sun, and then little bits and pieces here and there. And then I'm just going to go through the flags and words to bring in some sentiments to the page. I do find Doodlebug are geared not entirely or exclusively to card makers, but they definitely centre a lot more on card makers, especially with their stamp sets. And as I have started making cards a lot more lately, I'm quite enjoying that, which always used to not frustrate me, but I always found that I couldn't use a lot of it, whereas now I am. I love these beach huts, but gosh, they are gigantic. And I've sort of gone miniature on this layout with the miniature cut aparts from the 6x6 pad. So they were a little bit big to get on this layout, unfortunately, because I would have liked to have used one of the lighthouses, because there is a lighthouse in the picture, although you can't quite see it, it's sort of sticking out of Dan's head. because I didn't use the other photo, which you can see bottom left of your screen. You can see the lighthouse a lot more. But we went with a one photo layout in the end. I don't do that many one photo layouts, really, unless I'm following a sketch or something like that. I do generally use 2 or more photos, more so I would say, but one photo now and again is absolutely fine. I'm not here to limit myself or worry about albums filling up. I've got so many layouts, and I'm going to be honest, they're all in plastic boxes stacked up in the corner. I will get them filed one day soon, when I eventually get round to doing the craft room tours, craft room, flare room, scrap room tour. Now that it's all moved around again into a much better system, much more professional in terms of efficiency and scrapping and giving me sort of the separation, you'll see what I mean. Because I have the albums and I have the layouts, I just haven't got the inclination to file them yet. So we're just going through the mini icon stickers, adding the last few bits of enamel stickers, and deciding what I want to finish this layout off with. It's quite a basic layout. It's quite more is more, but with some white space, because there is quite a bit of empty space for me, but equally there is still quite a lot going on. We've got the big cluster of cut aparts, then we've got all the leaves going on, then we've got the shaker pop at the bottom right, and the cut file is still there in the background. It's not completely hidden, but it's definitely not a major part. So I'm going to use some Nuvo drops. I've just shown you how that shook then, I think. I'm just going to use a post-it note because I've not used my Nuvo drops for far too long, and I've got far too many of them not to use. So I'm just testing it on a sheet of post-it, and we're just going to add some Nuvo drops like I would enamel dots, but more in a line, and I think I managed to use them and not smudge them, which is a miracle. So I'm using the blue and orange. I just feel like they're the two focus colours of this layout, although the orange is a little bit washed out on screen. We're just going to add one top left, one in the middle, and one at the bottom of the blue, and then come in with finishing touch of the orange. So that is it for today, guys. Just a random scrappy chatty video doing a summary layout in October. Why not? I did film this, like I say, at least a month ago, if not more. But I'm glad to at least get the voiceover done and get it out there with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.